Hello, my name's Ryan Hunt, and I've decided to pick the topic of technology user types. And more specifically, I want to address the difference between the younger generation and the older generation. So, obviously, for the younger generation, I've decided to pick this baby to represent us. As you can see, it's a baby with an iPhone. And for the older generation, I have this guy with a household phone. As you can see, he's pretty old, so I think he fits the demographic. So, what I want to discuss is basically what separates the newer or younger generation, which would include me and you, from the older generation, which would be like the professor, sorry to single you out, professor, or our parents. And so, here's the Pew website that I have with my topic. And the articles I decided to pick were basically have to do with what would cause such a gap between the younger and older generations. Whether it be is the older generation just afraid of new technology, or is it that they just don't have time to learn it? Or if they do have time to learn it, do they just not have the right person to learn it from? So, my topic will include articles such as like this one, older adults and social media, and basically just talking about how older adults are using social media in regards to the extent of which younger people or younger adults use social media. Also, video games, adults in video games. You wouldn't think it, but actually, quite a few number of adults play video games. If I scroll down here a little bit, uh, demographic of adult gamers. We have, let's see here, right here in the age range, right about here. 50 years old to 64-year-old, 40% of that age range plays video games. And then 65 and older, 23%. I mean, that's pretty significant considering, but I mean, just to delve deeper into that, you wouldn't think that, oh, hey, the 65-year-old guy is playing video games. But they are out there, so. And moving on, we got cell phones. Cell phones, everyday use that we have. A lot of people use cell phones these days, of course. But in the time that cell phones have been around, um, the number of adults who use it compared to the number of younger adults who have them, it's quite drastic in the way the drastic in the number of adults, older adults, younger adults. Just like right here, after 20 years, 85% of adult Americans have cell phones. Well, adult Americans being, anybody, of course, over the age of 18. But then again, with the way cell phones are nowadays, like the new smartphones such as iPhone, Evo, and Droid, the ability for what they can do versus older cell phones, which I'm sure you've probably seen in like 80s movies that were like basically you're walking around with a field radio from the army or some sort of brick. Um, it could be overwhelming for older adults and stuff. And that overwhelming characteristic, I mean, I'm sure all of us have felt overwhelmed at some point or another, and it doesn't feel good. Not in the least. See, moving on. And even just regular stuff like the internet. Did you know that you can actually get fatigued from the internet? I'm sure some of you, if not most of you, have felt this. Just like Facebook. I don't know how many times I've been on Facebook and then just realized to myself, why am I spending so much time on here? And the people with their updates like every 5 minutes is like, I really don't need to know what you're doing every minute on the minute. And I myself have just turned off my Facebook and I even looked at it for at least 2 to 3 weeks on end just because I've grown so tired of it. And same thing with my cell phone, which I am actually kind of looking at right now, and the people are texting me, and it's just I'm so tired. I don't really need to know everything that's going on. Um, so this article I think will help out really well for discussing what I want to get across. So, sorry. And also, while looking through this, there is a quiz that you can take on the Pew website, and it's what kind of tech user are you? Basically, the quiz will take me anywhere from like 5 to 15 minutes, depending on how fast you can read and answer the questions. And I believe there's 10 different categories that the quiz will put you in, depending on what your answer is. And it's a really good way to see where you are as far as a technology user and how well you adapt to technology and stuff. So I would recommend all of you looking at it and taking it and seeing what group you fall into. And to leave off for today, I wanted to play you this video just because, um, just as a little preview of what the older generation is going through, and just to feel out for them, just to feel their pain for just a brief moment. Yeah. So as you can see, it is it. I feel for the old people because technology, with how far it's come, as fast as it's come, it just really doesn't leave that much room for them to adapt as quickly as the younger generation because we are from birth almost we're basically just surrounded by it and we fall into it so quickly, and because we have time to actually work with it and play with it and just learn it, it comes a lot easier to us. And for an older person, that it's just overwhelming, and with that, it can be scary, and they just don't want to adapt to it. So hopefully, after I get everything sorted out, uh, you will have a better understanding of well what kind of technology type person you are, the different demographics for how the older and younger generations fall into technology use, and a better understanding and appreciation for the older people as far as whether or not they can understand technology as well as you can. So thank you. This has been my presentation, and good night.